anticipate likely to have some expenditures in the upcoming months, but we did not have anything for the month of February. And that's all I have, unless there are any questions.
Any questions for the treasurer report? Okay, so we're going to vote to accept the treasury report.
We don't have to vote, only on the
Okay.
QFR. It's just public notice for kind of where our balances lie has to go out. But
Okay, cool.
I don't believe it. Commissioner McCullum, would you be able to kind of confirm that?
Yep. No, there's no need for a vote here. We're not
Okay.
changing or doing anything. It's just for public information, but we can have a Q&A, and there seems to not be any questions. So no questions. We can move to the next item.
Okay. Any questions for the treasury report then? Okay, great. Let's move to the next item, which will be the ANC reports. 5D01 is not here, so I will begin 5D02.
We have one item, Commissioner. We have the committee reports.
Oh, the committee reports?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we have zoning is not here. Beautification is here. You want to talk about the beautification committee?
This is the first time we did committee reports. We've never done this before.
Okay, well, go ahead.
I didn't know we were going to have this. Okay. So,
But
yeah.
I just want to make sure, because we have them on the agenda and we just adopted the agenda as it reads. So, and it has committee reports here. So.
Okay, great. So yeah, I'm chair of the Trash and Beautification Committee. And we're actually having a big event, which Commissioner McCray is leading on Saturday, April 26th. And we're going to have cleanup in the morning and with a event with a lot of different tabling and help services in the early afternoon. And we're hoping to possibly get food from MPD. We don't know if that's going to come through yet, but Commissioner McCray is leading that charge, and she has a lot more information than I do. But we're hoping to get every SMD involved and have a cleanup in every SMD, as many as we can, and just be a basic start to our spring cleaning, and then we'll start having more cleanups after that. Yeah, that's the main thing that's going on with the committee right now. There's also possibilities for, I wanted to just let people know about Adopt a Block. Adopt a Block is something that anyone can do. And you just sort of like adopt a block or two and take care of it. And people from the New Samaritan Baptist, some are here today. Thank you so much, Dave. Some people there have adopted a block. And we're hoping other people will. So let me know, anybody, if you're interested in adopting a block. It's my email at 5d03@anc.dc.gov and 202-651-0581. And there's different things that, we would love it if people would sort of take under their wing and do for cleanliness for the area. For instance, you can hang trash bags on your gate, and then people walking by often put the trash in the bag instead of on the ground. If everyone would sort of take care of their front lawn and the street, and between the street and the sidewalk in front of their building, that would really help a lot. That was originally Commissioner Sabrina's idea. It was a good one. And yeah, so we hope to have more cleanings starting now with the nice weather and have a lot of people, as many as we can. I hope everyone can join at some point. Have a cleanup or two. Yeah. That's all. Thanks.
Thanks, Commissioner Robin. Okay, with the Committee on Environmental Justice, basically, what we're working on in Ivy City and everyone else can be working on is making sure that you're putting in your 311 requests for illegal dumping, making sure that if you're seeing any abandoned cars, if you're having an issue with rodents, please call 311 for your community. You can contact the Rat Academy if you see rats, because we're going to be seeing them a lot more these days. You can have a tour around your community looking for borrows with the Rat Academy, and you can get them through Department of Health. And again, please make sure that there's no standing water. It's about to get hot for the mosquitoes, and make sure that if there's some illegal dumping going on, put in a 311 request. Please send those 311 requests to 5do2@anc.dc.gov. And that's all for the EJ, Environmental Justice Committee. Do we have any other committees?
We do. We have the Transportation Committee. And I know Hector, 5D01 Commissioner Arbuckle is the chair for that committee. And we did host a kind of initial meeting, and that was the third Wednesday of February. And there will likely be more to come from that, since this is kind of a revival of that committee. So more to come. And we did have a question in the Q&A about how do we get owners of small apartment buildings to kind of keep their lawns clean. And I don't know if I want to hand that over to Commissioner Roblin. Just, I think you briefly touched on this about keeping clean and adding bags to gates, but I don't know if there's more to say on that or not.
Yeah, thanks. Actually, was talking to what's her name from the council member McDuffie's office, Kelly Cisco, is it? Yeah. Well, she said actually that she is going to help us get the names and addresses of all buildings in our SMDs, and then we'll have their contact information, and we can talk to the owners and the management. Because as ANCs, we're allowed to get that information. And she said she was going to get that for us, for every commissioner. And then we'll have their contact information. We can talk about things with them. We can find out who's on what page and work with them. So I think that's definitely something that we can do. And then, I would say if your building is like that, contact your ANC commissioner and ask them to contact them, and see if they can work with them. Yeah.
I'd like to add on to that as well, because I've had something similar to that over in 5DL7. And what I've kind of been successful with doing is reaching out to DPW and reaching out to the landlord, and just kind of trying to form a relationship with the landlord. So like Commissioner Roblin said, if you reach out to the commissioner and then kind of let us do a little bit of the groundwork to find out who's the landlord, because one of the things that will happen is it will take some time, but there can be fines given to these landlords of these properties for failure to keep the landscape up and for failure to, if their tenants are throwing trash and stuff in these alleyways. I mean, that's what I'm combating now. So I'll talk more about that when it's my time to speak. But I just wanted to kind of piggyback off of Commissioner Roblin that that is the best way, is to really kind of let the commissioners know. And then from there, DPW and the landlords, we need to kind of tackle it from both angles to try to get successful there. And eventually it'll have to be an enforcement situation where if they're not complying, there will be fines.
Yeah, thanks, Commissioner. And a lot of, apparently quite a few buildings are not taking care of their dumpster trash well either, and that's causing rats, and that's causing big problems too.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, that is an issue with the abandoned cars, any illegal dumping. It's about to get hot, like I said before. So there's going to be, we want to keep our communities clean. If you can talk to the property owner or maybe as tenants, get together and make sure that the trash is being picked up, make sure that there's no trash in your yards, and you have to go out to your curb, actually, and pick up the trash. DPW is not going to do it. Okay. Any more, Commissioner? Any more committee reports?
I think we have a question in the room.
Okay. Hi.
I'm noticing in our community, there's a increase of unneighborly conduct behavior when it comes to people, pet owners. The other day we were walking, and as opposed to individuals placing their dogs or animals waste in cans, it's just leaving them on the sidewalk now. So when you talk about 311 requests and enforcement, how can we come together at this time before we go into the heart of the heat of the summer, spring, and whatnot, to get the attention of those that we need to get the attention of? And I also noticed that there was a trash can full of this waste, bags. Is there a possibility of getting separate containers or something for the waste for animals? I don't know if it makes it any better, but combine it with garbage, trash can't be helping the situation. And again, the 311 request, I think we need to come together on that as opposed to just separate individual types of submissions.
I think we need to come together also, and I did find out through the Rat Academy that rats like dog poop
Yes.
more than they like trash. So, and everyone is having the same issues all over the city with dogs pooping on the sidewalk. No one is picking up the poop. I guess they're thinking that somebody else will pick it up. But first of all, we can get block captains. We can start off there and having folks get together with the block the block captain, and airing out their grievances, maybe a community or a block meeting with everyone, and asking the people that have dogs, can you please pick up the poop if you see it? Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't, but we don't have anybody and no agency that will address that. We've tried to get the poop bags. We can get poop bags from the mayor's office, hang them all over the place, and just hope they use them, or give them out to people with animals. But we're trying everything, and if anybody have any suggestions, please give them to us.
Well, I know Commissioner Salvador was working on getting more poop containers for people to put the poop in. We sort of like left that somewhere in the middle maybe, but we can take that up again. Because I know that he was working specifically on that. Also, there are signs that you can get from the Clean City, but I've asked them several times, for no dog poop signs. And they appear to be out of them, or they never got back to me. So, but there are signs. I don't know if there are fines or not. I mean, that would be
There are
good
fines.
to, there are, yeah.
There are fines.
Mm.
But we have to get to the commissioners' reports, so we can save that conversation for another time. And we'll do our best to try to work with the agencies to see how we can get those poop containers, those little, I'm not sure exactly what they're called, but they're poop containers, and we can see if we can get some of those, at least I think, in every community, right? Okay, so we're gonna continue on, and we have commissioner reports, 3 minutes each. 5D01 is not here. 5D02, which is Ivy City, and we are working on the Ivy City Resiliency Strategy Plan, which is to mitigate the historic heat and the historic flooding in our community. We have office hours. Today was our first time with the office hours. Our next office hours will be at 1900 Capitol Avenue, and it's March 22nd, 12 to 2. And then the next one is Wednesday, March 26th, from 6 to 7, and both of them will be at 1900 Capitol Avenue. Please, if you'd like to come by and see this resiliency strategy, please come by, give us some suggestions, look at the board, see the ideas. We are working with DOEE and Ramble. We also have a community engagement session where there will be a meeting with DHS on March 26th at 530 Penn Street Northeast. And that's for DHS to talk about the new men's shelter that's coming on New York Avenue. And also, we just want to make sure that everyone is picking up their trash. If you notice anything, if you see something, say something. And that's it for me. 5D03.
Hi, I'm Anna Roblin, 5D03, Southern Trinidad. So a group that worked at the Trinidad History and Future Fest a couple months ago is going to get together to talk about what the community prioritized in their feedback at that event and do some work on those issues. So please let me know, everybody, if you're interested in joining the group. I wanted to give everyone a reminder that we have cleanup tools that residents can borrow. We have trash pickers, bags, brooms, rakes, and dustpans. They're in this closet there, in that closet. And residents can borrow them at any time for any of your own personal cleanups. Just contact your SMD commissioner, and they or another commissioner will meet you at this office here, 371 Morse, to get the tools to you. And commissioners, if it's inconvenient for you, please ask another commissioner if they can do it. There's a key to the closet. It's usually locked in the small office here, this small office. Commissioner Sabrina just successfully got the tools a couple of weeks ago, right? Or last week. I can show everyone who's here, like where the key is after the meeting, but I think you guys, everyone here knows actually. But it's not hard to find. It's sort of like at the back cupboard, like, hey, where is it exactly, Sabrina? Did you find it? Did you find it, Char? Where is it exactly? Because I have my own key, so I don't have to look for it.
Yeah, we could discuss like post a meeting where it is and folks offline. We could figure it out afterwards.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk to the commissioners afterwards. And then commissioners need to mark down in the notebook that's in the closet what tools went out and who borrowed it, and check off the return. when they're returned, and then we can go over the book. Yeah, after the meeting, the book's in there if anyone wants. And residents would need to leave either a $20 bill or a printed copy of your ID with us, which would be returned when you return the tools. And tools should be returned within about 5 to 7 days after being borrowed. That's about it. I already talked about some other things I wanted to talk about, like the adopt the block and the cleanup event on the 26th.
Thanks, Commissioner. 5D04, 5D05, 5D06.
All right. So, in terms of 5D06, Trinidad Carver Langston, March the 1st, we held an initial cleanup in the community. And the goal of that was to kind of kick off the spring. It was one of the first nicer days of the year. So we hope to kind of, and I hope to kind of continue those at least at a minimum monthly. But that was the first of many to come. We hit a few different streets throughout the area. Another item coming up in terms of cleanup is the larger April 26th cleanup. We will have a few cleanups sprinkled in between then and now in April 26th, but stay tuned for more details on that. We'll make sure that goes out on the ANC 5D distro. But the April 26th cleanup, we're hoping that we can kind of hit all 9 single member districts for a huge cleanup. But we more to come on that and kind of what the scope of that event will be. So any commissioners that want to kind of partner on that, just let us know. But that is the goal, hopefully, to hit all 9 single member districts with the help of C. Sosa. So we do hope for that. And we hope to have a community day afterwards at the CVS parking lot. I'm working with Commissioner McDuffie and Commissioner Parker's team to try to secure the space. If that is possible, we'll see. If not, it'll be just kind of highlighting health, since that is the Saturday after Earth Day. So the goal would be to highlight health and the importance of health in the community. So with that CVS gone, we know that that does put a damper and a stain in the area, and a vacant building is also not ideal. So more to come on that. There will be many conversations, so feel free to reach out if you have any thoughts or questions on that. And I want to say that that's it, but I know in my single member district, there's a lot of concerns, a lot of DPW concerns right now when it comes to trash, illegal dumping, and a lot with the rats. So really trying to kind of get that under control, but there's been some delays. So we're really trying to kind of get that nipped in the bud before the summer, spring warms up and rolls around, because it's not going to be good if that's the case. So more to come on all of these things, but feel free to reach out, and I'll drop my email address in the chat, and feel free to reach out on anything. I can't say that I'll always have the answer, but the hope is to find some answer. And a little bit later in the presentation today, we'll hear about the Carver Langston Park that's scheduled for 19th and L Street. So there will be more to come, and we will be flyering with C. Sosa coming very soon.
Exciting. So yeah, we don't have all the answers, but we can work together to make things happen the way we want. The only way we can do it is together. 5D07.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm Commissioner Juan McCullum, 5D07. I won't belabor this for long. I do agree with Commissioner Rhodes that coming together is a big part of this. I just want to hit on just a couple of key things. And Commissioner McCray and Commissioner Roblin has kind of hit on it already, but I do recognize that in 5D07, the alleyways, there's a lot of illegal dumping that's taking place right now. And I am on it. I am documenting. I am already talking to folks. And we are going to try to set up some type of trap. And so I'm going to try to pull in some of the other commissioners because I'm pretty sure if it's happening here and if we start watching here, they're going to just go to other areas within. And so we've got to all be mindful of what's going on. I've already talked to a couple of the neighbors in some of my area that's really, really bad with high traffic. And I asked them to put, like, they have cameras in their homes. So I asked them to place cameras where they could capture some of it. So we do have some footage of some of these individuals that are coming at different times during the early mornings and dumping. So that's been very helpful. So number one, I wanted to just let folks know I appreciate you for that. We're on it. We're going to stay on it. Number two, this dog poop, the constituent that stood and talked about that, thank you so much for bringing that to everyone's attention. But I have already been on that. I mean, it just makes my skin crawl when I see folks walking with dogs. They clearly don't have bags and they let their dogs just do whatever and they just take off like it's nothing. So I'm very passionate about that. I own a dog. I clean up the waste and we even clean up in front of our house and on our block for folks that don't. Um, Yes, there are fines potentially, but it's just so many layers of getting to the point of where we can get to that. And so what I've been asking folks to do is if you see it and you can't, if you're in your house, snap a picture, send it to me. So if you could snap a picture, send it to your commissioner. I promise you, this is not something we take lightly. We will be with DPW. And if we can't get DPW, I definitely have no problem going to one of the council members' offices and getting some other force to come in and help me with that. So please, 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 the last thing we want is you all getting out of your cars and stepping in poop. That's just not good. And it, like they said, the feces of the dog is really what the rats are thriving off of. So we don't want it. Also here in 5D07, we still have a lot of development that's going on, and there's a lot of it's just not sensible development, and it's just not nice or neat development. And so there's a lot of places here, particularly on H Street, where H and 18th and H and 17th and H and 19th, in that area, there's a lot of development taking place there. And so a lot of these construction sites, what they're doing is at the end of the day, before 7 o'clock, they're taking their construction equipment and parking it on the street in public space, and taking parking spaces. And they are not allowed to park in public space without the proper permit for that. So if you see that, please, please, please call me, email me, or text or whatever you need to do, because there's been two developments already that we've put on a pause. I went over, they wouldn't move the equipment. I got Council Member McDuffie's office involved, and that day we were able to get all the equipment off the street. So I want you all to be very vigilant about that and let us know what's going on. I don't mind you all just hitting me up with stuff. The more I know, the more I'll just either try to work it out myself or try to get other folks involved. So I just want to say thank you all for everything that you're doing. I'm looking forward to working with some of the other commissioners on some of this stuff to tackle. If you all need me, you know how to get in contact with me, and I'll yield so that someone else can talk about their single letter. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. And yeah, if you see something, say something. The illegal construction, the equipment being in parking spaces, poop everywhere. We all have issues and we all can work on them together. 5D08 is absent and we have 5D09.
Hello, this is Commissioner Green Campbell, 5D09. I haven't had any issues or any reports for illegal dumping, but if there are, reach out, let me know. My email is in the chat box. Right now, we are dealing with rats, so yes, we have to come together with some kind of solution so we can be able to at least keep them down. But yeah, right now, that's what we're working on, besides me doing a walk at the end of the month at the school and on 21st. And we trying to get parking because you are right. Like the workers come, they take up the parking space. Residents don't have nowhere to park. So that's like a huge issue. And like on 21st Street, like they have parking signs, like 2-hour parking and stuff like that. But parking enforcement don't come out. So we need them to come out to at least start to enforcing the parking, because some people do pay to have zone parkings, but when you come home, you don't have nowhere to park. So that is a big issue with workers and even with teachers. So that's a issue that we're working on. So if you have any issue, 5D09, just reach out to me and we can go forward with that. That's it.
Thanks, Commissioner. And again, contact 311, but if you have someone working or doing a development, contact DDOT and make sure that DDOT is aware that they are in the street with their equipment, because it could be an illegal situation like I just went through. And sometimes they have a permit, but they don't have other permits. So just do your due diligence and contact DDOT and make sure that if an inspector needs to come out, they can come out and check to make sure that they're legal. If they're not, they're shutting it down, and you can call a tow truck to get rid of the equipment.
No, I think we forgot Commissioner Campbell's safety committee.
Oh, yeah. Commissioner Campbell, do you want to talk about the safety committee?
Lately, I mean, we can. I mean, we just had a few shootings and stuff like that, but it's kind of hard, like getting the information. Me and Commissioner Salvador, we was talking about that. So me and him going to get together, because he's saying that like we having issues getting the information that we need to move forward, to even let the residents know if like we have a major safety concern, because we did had a few shootings in the past 2 weeks around, and even in 5D07, 8 and 9. So our commissioner said that we're going to get together to try, because we haven't been getting the information that we need to try to tackle the issue that we want to address with all the crime that is going on in the area. So that's a huge issue of trying to get the information, because I feel like as a commissioner, when I'm going out there to get the information, like we even had a fire on 21st Street. I didn't know. Then when I go talk to like the manager of the property to see what's going on, if anybody got hurt, they don't even know the information. And then it kind of bothers me, because I should know that, or with working with public safety, I should be able to get that information versus residents giving me information, which is good, but I should know that to give to the resident, not the resident giving it to me. So that's like an issue that Commissioner Salvador, so we're going to work on, because it's hard getting the information that we need to tackle, and also let the resident know what's going on in the neighborhood. So that's the issue.
And it's fine. A lot of we can just work as a team. Sometimes the residents have more information, and we welcome that.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, commissioners, for your reports. Now we have the public safety report from MPD. Let's see if we have them on the line. Do anyone see MPD?
If anyone from MPD is on the line, would you be able to raise your hand?
Oh, wait a minute. No. I see. Okay. All right, we have Leonardo. Can you come off mute?
Looks like he disappeared. Oh, there he is.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. Yep, we see you. You're up.
Yep.
Yep.
So this is technically my first ANC meeting with you guys. Before I used to work in the 2nd district and 4th district. So I don't know how the dynamic goes. Usually they ask me questions about crimes, violent crimes, property crimes, and then we go from there. But as for now, compared to last year and this month, property crimes, it's been going up. I'm not gonna pretend or give you wrong information about what we're going through. What I can tell you is that last 2 weeks we'll be making a lot of arrests. We also caught that black Hyundai Elantra that was involved.
And just really quickly, and not to interrupt you, would you be able to turn your volume up or speak a little bit louder? We just can't hear you on our end.
I'm gonna do my best and speak a little louder because this is actually from the laptop. Not sure if this is actually equipped with a better microphone. I don't have one on hands that I can use, but is it sounds better or let me see maybe
A little bit, a little bit. Okay, you can continue and we'll just try to hear you.
okay. So violent crimes just went down just a few percent, but property crimes they've been going up a little bit for the last couple of weeks. We were able to make multiple arrests, especially the ones for the black Hyundai that was driving around um, doing burglaries, robberies, and theft from autos. So we were able to apprehend it, two out of three of them, and then the third one we were able to identify the third suspect. um, so we are currently looking for this person, and a warrant has been issued against him. If I'm not mistaken, these three suspects are linked to between 12 to 15 burglaries and robberies. So that is right now pending in court. So we are waiting for the Fifth District Detectives Unit to uh, submit their package with all the DFS evidence that has been processed. Besides that, I don't know if you guys have a specific questions. I met last week with the Eva City community business and managers. I know we're having a lot of issues on Orchid Street, a lot of breaking into the cars. I mean, we've been trying to get what we call the light towers or the light poles with cameras on Oakey Street on both sides on that 1300 block. So we can then monitor and then we can ID those suspects, usually based on what I heard, actually coming from a homeless shelter. But we also have like that black Hyundai hit Oakey Street, the 1300 block of Oakey Street, three times in one day. Things got next a few hours later, we were able to apprehend them. But so we have to be on top of, not only our chain of command, but we also have to be on top of people above us that can make those decisions and can locate resources. So then we can put them on specific tactical spots so we can help not only our business community, but also our normal community, specifically on this area, because a lot of people are coming to the city. They want to enjoy their time. They want to, be part of what we're part of. I mean, but it is hard for them to enjoy every time they come to the city, or even the residents when they see this constant breaking into the vehicles, robberies, and even shootings. So that's where we're working right now. We're relocating resources from other districts as well. Like we're actually from the fifth district. We're getting officers working in the fifth district from the fourth district, first district, the second district. So we're trying to do our best, but at the same time, we're asking then the community and the business to also do their part and maybe just help themselves with advertising the one of the main issues, which is the breaking into the cars and awareness about robberies and stay off the phone. Um, there was one more thing that I was wanting to talk about, but completely forgot at this time. But yeah, so that's all I have so far. I know someone asked questions about the dockways, and we were talking about the illegal dumping. Today we have a circular that came out for the illegal dumping when it comes down to the department policies and regulations. It just amended the vocabulary about what specifically is solid waste, but also informed the officers on how to proceed with the fines. If it comes down to like we receive a call for service, so then we have to respond there. Then if we can identify the perpetrator, then we'll be issuing then a fine. Kind of goes as far as that $25 to up to $5,000. But that's what I put the information up there. That if you guys have any issues or any problem with like duck owners that fail to pick up duck waste, just call 311 they will then be contacting us for the right person that will get you in the right track in order for us then to enforce these kind of issues. Besides that, I don't know if you have any questions in reference about crimes or the illegal dumping, dog waste.
Okay, we have a question from Commissioner McCollum. And can the rest of the commissioners raise your hand if you have any questions for MPD?
Thank you for your service. Thank you for being here tonight. Just real quickly, I noticed that you said at the end, you were advising everyone if they have any issue with the illegal dumping or specifically with the dog feces, to reach out to 311. They'll get in touch with you all. But one of the things that me being a commissioner, I run into is when we do 311, we are told, and we're transferred to MPD side. When it's a non-emergency, I'm always told that this is a non-emergency and police is likely not to come. So I know that, and I always let them know that I'm commissioner, not to get any extra, speed or anything, but I always say, from the jump that this is Commissioner McCollum, da 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 da. And I'm even told with that this is a non-emergency. There's other things that you all are doing that take precedent over that. So to folks who are on the call and to constituents who are really, really concerned about this, what else can they do? I mean, they're letting us know. We're calling 311. We're reaching out to DPW. What is the next step? Because by the time you all come, if you come, the folks are also gone with the dogs.
So this is one of the issues that, and unfortunately, I don't have a straight answer for that, because the main issue is when you guys call 311 or 911, it just go specifically to the Office of Unified Communication, which is the dispatchers. Then whatever the dispatchers are making decisions out there, we don't have control about that, because every call for service go to them, and then from them they send it to us. When it comes to us, we can't see it. And yes, sometimes we have miscellaneous report or call for services or disorderlies. So these got to call for services, but they dispatch this call for services based on priority. Yeah, priority 1, priority 2, priority 3. Now, to be honest with you, and I'm kind of agree with you on that side, because I've never seen, and I've been in MPD for about 18, 19 years now, and I never seen a call for services that actually say for any illegal dumping or dog waste. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend that this is not happening. I'll be honest, because I used to live in the city as well, and I know how that feels. And I have to call people out and say, hey, listen, man, can you just please pick it up? And it's frustrating, especially when it comes down to enforce the laws. And although we can't be there to get it done, the process to get to us it's a little difficult, because then let's say that we don't have any call for service pending now and we have units available, and then you guys call. Why that call for service is not coming to our board to be dispatched? We don't know. So those are things that I can maybe reach out to my chain of command and see, is there specifically, let's say, personnel in the DC government that enforce that and maybe goes to them, or do they have a specific schedule? Because that happened, let's call it the illegal dumping. So sometimes DPW work on that, but sometimes we have to interfere. Why? Because it's related to either a specific case, or the marshal just evicted someone, and then that specific building decided just to get all this person's property and put them out on the street, on the sidewalk. So now, by law and by MPD policy, if somebody get a call, somebody called the OUC or Office of Unified Communication, they give us a call, we have to take control of that property and bring it to the district and secure that property. And if it becomes dangerous, then we have a choice to either call DPW or we can take it to the district. But that happened very few times. So it's a little complicated, and sometimes it's a little frustrating. So I can probably see if this issue about the legal dumping, because today they came out with the circular and with the changes of the general orders. So maybe if I can get in contact with someone on top to see, hey, listen, I mean, when citizens call for specifically about this issue, Is this actually something that, because I know we can handle it because we have the collateral book, which means we can write fines with a non-custodial arrest. So that's what I was explaining in the chat. So those tickets go, let's say, dock ways from 25, 150 to $1,000, right? So we actually issue a fine. It's a non-custodial arrest, and that person has 15 days to pay for it. If they don't pay during those 15 days, then we close the report, and then we go with the next step, which is go to the U.S. Attorney's Office or the Office of Attorney General to apply for a warrant. And then they choose to either grant the warrant or decline the warrant. So it is a process, but it's everything have procedures. So if you want, I can reach out of my chain of command, see, hey, listen, when this call for services come up, where do they actually go? Because I've never seen one on our board in the last 19 years that I've been with the MPD. So who's actually enforcing this, or how it's supposed to proceed? And maybe I get back to you guys and let you guys know, okay, so this is the answer that I have. So then we can go ahead and start, moving our resources and calling the right person to get things done. Unfortunately, that's sometimes work like that. You just have to contact the right person to get things done instead of going to the 311 or you see, and then they decided to start transferring you to different places.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we have a question for the interpreters because we're a hybrid. We have Mel that's online, and then do we have another interpreter or an ASL interpreter online? Because we have some that are here in person. Do we need to keep the in-person interpreters, or let me see. I have Mel and the other interpreter, I can't see the name.
Allison, I don't know if you can see me on the screen.
Okay. Okay. So the question is, we have 2 interpreters here in person and 2 online. Because we don't have anyone in the audience that need an in-person interpreter, we will let them have the rest of their day. So we just want to make sure that's okay with everyone. You're welcome. Okay, and then we're going to switch up. Is Christian from the mayor's office here? Let's see. Okay, so what we're going to do is have Christopher Dyer from DPR take Christian's place. Oh, Christian's here? Oh, hey, Christian. Okay, so sorry, Chris, you want to switch with Christian? Okay, is that okay? All right. All right, Christian, you're up.
Okay, thank you for having me. I won't be long at all. I only have a few updates here, and most of them are pertaining to 5D. So the first being that Mokers attended a walk with Commissioner Rhodes to visit 1850 to 1854 Kendall Street Northeast on 3/3/25. We're working with, like I said, Commissioner Rhodes, U.S. Rep. Oy, Ms. Kelly with the council office, as well as Oliver and DPW to evaluate the concerns that have been addressed. To evaluate the concerns that residents have. And like we know, this is an ongoing issue, so we're doing all that we can to assist those residents there. Also on that walk, we visited the Cromell School to address the concerns of it actually not being properly secured. And DOB did conduct an inspection today, 3/11/25, and we will receive those findings about what can happen to make sure it is secure from here on out. And we are asking that any residents that see anyone entering the gate area or the building that you do contact MPD immediately, or Commissioner Rhodes or myself. Lastly is the update for federal workers. So the mayor provided a situational update about the impact of federal job losses on workers and families in DC. So I will drop the link that was provided of all of the resources that's available for you all now. And hopefully it is helpful for you all. And also, DCHR is holding a hiring fair specifically for those federal workers at the Kellogg Conference Center Hotel, which is at 800 Florida Avenue Northeast. And that is from 10 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And I'll drop the link for that as well. So happy to join on those walks last week. And again, just wanted to remind residents and commissioners that we are available to do things like that and go directly into the community. And that is on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So we are very open for that. And we look forward to continuing to work and support the ward. And that's all the updates I have. I can take questions. And then I'll also attach my contact information for any one-offs or personals.
Do anyone have any questions for Christian? Thank you.
Is it already on? Okay. Good afternoon, Kristen. Glad to see you again. This is property tax time, and we all received our assessments, and there's been a change in how residential property is being assessed. Add a new category. Last year, we were considered one, residential real property. This year, we're considered residential real property with no more than 2 dwelling units, with the first 2.5 million is taxed at a higher rate. If our property goes over 2.5 million, not that I'm fortunate to have a house over 2.5 million, but in the future, because being a long-term DC resident, my taxes have gone up substantially from the purchase price of my home. Just have concern, didn't know, because it's a different rate if your house, and so I don't know if this is going to be lowered to 1 million, then my house would qualify for the higher rate. So I have some concerns about that because I was not aware until I received this assessment notice that it's a new classification of our real property, residential real property. So in my mother's home, every residential home in my family has this new classification of 1B. I did call my assessor because I think it should be back at 1A or 1, and he said they were going to look at it. They sent me an email. I got an immediate response when I called my assessor. Have not heard any follow-up, but have that concern because this is another way to raise property tax. And I don't know if people are really aware of that because it wasn't publicly noticed that you're going to change the classification. The city is going to change the classification of residential property. So big concern because, living in the Trinidad community, which used to be affordable, now it's unaffordable. So if property tax go up, it's going to be more unaffordable. So I had that concern. It just went to the mayor and the city council and I already know it's my own, but just for other people to be aware of this, that we have to be careful about how these things creep up. So that was just my statement question. I know it can't be answered right away, but just a notice since I've done mine personally and haven't received the answer, but I think this needs to be addressed with the mayor. At least give us an explanation and actually go back to the same classification that it was, because that concerns me that normal people houses can go up beyond the 85 cents per 100 to $1 per 100. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I will go ahead and drop, as soon as I go off camera, drop my contact information. If you are open to contacting me, I'd like to assist you and get you talking to the right people in regard to that. And from that conversation, I can provide a actual update about that to the community and commissioners at the next meeting. So make sure you get my contact information from the chat, and we'll definitely be communicating about that. Thank you.
Thanks, Christian. Thanks, Mr. Lee. Does anyone else have any questions for Christian?
It looks like there's one hand raised. Francis R.
Okay, Francis, let me take you off of.
Oh, I didn't mean to.
Oh, you good? Okay.
Yes, I heard my name called. I was just trying to look at chat. However, I have concerns about the classification change as well. It just, I look at it, but I don't look at it. But this time I looked at my form and like, well, when did it go to a 1B? And what was it before? And then I had to go back and look at other stuff. And I know that the taxes do go up every year. So that I didn't worry too much about, but I don't know why the classification was changed and what is the difference in the classifications.
Okay, thank you for that as well. And I'll follow up with you, Ms. Francis.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, now we're going to switch it up a little bit. Before Oliver Stout from Councilmember Parker's office, we're going to have Christopher Dyer, who's here with us from DPR. You're up next, Chris. Give us a sec.
It's a beautiful slide deck. It's the most beautiful slide deck ever, but I can wing it. And hello to everyone at home. You're missing a beautiful room here for, an ANC meeting. So I encourage you, as it gets warmer, come in person. They're much more interesting. We do have a wonderful audience too, so. Cool. There we go. And if you do that in reader view, that would be phenomenal. All right. So, and I'll do the next slide, please, but I'm sure you'll pick up my cadence pretty well. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Christopher Dyer. I'm the Community Engagement Manager for the DC Department of Parks and Recreation. For those of you, I'm very excited to be here. For you commissioners, I am your primary point of contact with DPR. I'm basically the MOCR of DPR. So I'm grateful. For those who also don't know, we're very excited again that we are once again the #1 park rank system in the country. We host programming and events year round in 244 sites across 900 acres of green space in all 8 wards. And we annually have up to over 100 plus different capital improvement projects in our construction pipeline to support the district's park system. So we're a little bit busy. Next slide, please. These are some of the main websites that you can use to find out more about us. DPR.events has a list of upcoming events at DPR. DPRprograms.com is the major driver of our site. This is where you find all of our programming information, how to get a RecTrack account. RecTrack's the system we use for registration, and also to sign up for classes. For some of you today, you might have had fun trying to get into our aquatics programming, and I apologize if you weren't able to make it in. dpr.dc.gov/locations, you can find a location of a DPR facility. And then finally, dpr.dc.gov/permits is a one-stop shop on how to host an event at a DPR site. You can also contact our customer care center at 202-673-7647 or email to dprcustomercare@dc.gov. So we at DPR are where the fun happens. Next slide. As I said, dprprograms.com, that is a website. If you're going to remember one thing from my presentation today, it's that website. So you can go and peruse all the programming that we are having. Next slide, please. So our programming, we have our registration in seasonally. Today was the day to register for all of our aquatics programs. I believe we are completely sold out. There might be 1 or 2 left. But tomorrow at noon, Our 11:55 a.m. we'll start our registration for our spring programs. So please plan on getting online, especially for some of our more popular programs. The next round is on our summer season, which will be May 13th and 14th, the fall season, August 12th and August 13th, and we've not gotten the dates yet for the winter season. And we've already just finished our summer camp registration. If you did not get into summer camp, on March 17th, we will be opening up dprsummercamp.com again if there are any open slots available, or you can get on a waiting list for centers because we've already run our lottery. If you haven't gotten a notification yet from our system, please send me an email tomorrow at christopher.dyer@dc.gov or check your spam because you have until the 16th to accept your and enroll in your to accept the offers. We do offer also a reduced rate program on fee-based for programming and sponsoring. You get a 50 to 75% discount depending on income levels. The application approval is good for the entire calendar year. So you can go in if you haven't already done so and apply for it. And if you get approved, it'll be good through the year. And visit dprprograms.com for more information and to complete your application. Next slide, please. Permits. We are required for a permit for an organized picnic or activity of 10 or more participants in any DPR facility. Again, visit dpr.dc.gov/permits or call 202-673-7647 for complete information on how to get a permit for your special event or program. Next slide. This is fun. If you're wondering, how do I put in a service request to if you see something in a DPR property, the District Department of General Services is actually the agency that does the maintenance and cleaning of all of our properties. And we're delighted, beyond delighted, that they're on 311 right now. So if you see the dog park maintenance, indoor, outdoor pool maintenance, playground, especially playgrounds and overflowing DPR recycling cans, go to put in a service request into 311. It's very helpful. Now, if you're at a rec center and you see something, you can actually flag it for the staff there. And they should be also able to put a ticket in. But if you're especially out at like one of our parks, it's very helpful if you can put a ticket in. And you can also, commissioners, if you see something, take a picture. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. And I'll enter a work order myself. It's a lot of fun. It takes about 5 minutes, and I enjoy tracking them so that we can make sure that things get fixed. But to use the 311 system, it is really been a game changer for us. Next slide, please. This is how you reach me. Our community engagement manager. You can reach me by cell at 202-702-9453. Commissioners, because I know you all work odd hours like me, you can call me up until 9 o'clock at night. I might answer the phone. Please, if you need something done, though, email me at christopher.dyer@dc.gov. I know sometimes I get text messages and, my digits are not that great. I'll be 55 in May. So please, email me. It also helps me track, and I quite haven't figured out how to forward a text yet. And of course, everyone under the age of 30 is just rolling their eyes at this point. Anyway, I'm really excited to help you. I've been in DC government for about, 14 years. I'm also, commissioners, in case you did not know, because I needed some street cred with you guys, I'm also an ANC commissioner myself, representing ANC 2F05. This is my 4th term, 2nd non-consecutive. So if you have questions about being an ANC commissioner or DC government and you can't get an answer, feel free to call or email me. And I enjoy the more odd and fun questions to do research, the better. Anyway, thank you all for having me. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. Oh, I forgot to say, I should plug this, but I didn't. We are doing a capital project to modernize the park at 19th and L Street Northeast, Carver Langston. We have a survey out. You'll be seeing this in the neighborhood. If you would like to get updates on this project, email me or go to dpr.dc.gov/stakeholder, and you can sign up for updates on the project. Right now, the survey is very important because we're about to go and hire a design firm to do the work on the site, and the input you provide to us on this survey will help us, make the decisions on what goes into this park. So that's incredibly exciting. Commissioner McRae has been amazing. We've actually printed out flyers to distribute, so this is very exciting. Anyway, that's it. Any questions?
I have a question. We're going to start with the commissioners first and then the audience. Can you give us an update on Cromell?
It is in the works. No update.
Works.
It's still in progress.
Okay. Also, we are noticing, I'm not sure if anyone else is noticing, but with the Cromell, we
Yes.
have DPR,
Mm-hmm.
we have DGS,
Mm-hmm.
and then so we have DPR at who's responsible for the grounds, and then DGS for the trash cans.
So that's an interesting question.
Okay.
So this is one of my favorite things because everyone in DC probably does not know this. So the blue trash cans that are recycling are DGS. The brown trash cans that are regular trash are DPW. So if you see these trash cans overflowing, go to 311 and put in a ticket request. So brown, DPW, I know you're just, it just blows me away too. Blue, recycling. And there is probably a reason that there is this done this way, that recycling, by the way, and trash are separately processed. So that's how we do it. But anyway, if it's blue, where do you go? Excellent. Brown, where do you go? Fabulous. One of my favoriteest things in the world. One of the quirkiest things. The other quirky thing is that not everything that's green in the city is ours. Some of it's National Park Service, and some of it's actually a DDOT right away. So that gets kind of fun as well. If you ever have a question about which is which, feel free to email me. It gives me an opportunity to fire up the DC GIS map and have a little bit of fun.
Or call you before 9 p.m.
Sure. But if you want to know if a park's ours, email me or call me or text me during business hours so I can look it up on the computer. Yeah. And
I think
yeah.
Commissioner McCullum has a question for you.
Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you for being here. Yeah, so I've already had this question to come. I knew that things were opening up for registration, but I think you and I talked about this last year. Constituents had situations where their children do not live with them, and during the summers they are here. And a couple of constituents got turned around and were told that since they were not residents, since their children were not residents of DC, that they could not go into the rec centers. However, the parents live in the area, own houses right where the rec centers are. So I think we never got a clear answer or what is supposed to be done by that when that happens to constituents. So I wanted to see if we can provide or see if you now have clarity on what they need to do in that situation.
I think the clarity is to try to be added to the, yeah, that's a question that we could be called offline. I can find out. But I think the question is to add the children to your parents' account if we allow that, or to the person that they're staying in account. But we are very, very serious about DC residents accessing our programming. And so I know that in some cases, some kids that even though they're visiting their grandparents over the summer, were not eligible to do our summer camp.
So just for clarity, if so the parents need to register for a parent account, and then from there they need to add their children?
Add their children to their RecTrack account, yeah.
Okay.
If that's possible. And they might be asked to prove DC residency, and then that gets interesting.
So then I think that's what the problem was in each of the instances where I was called. It was that the kids don't go to school, they don't do anything, but each summer those children are here in this community. And so I think they get here around the end of May, and then they leave at like the first week of August. And so they're with their mom and they're with their dad during the other time. And so I already have been asked that question about 2 weeks ago. So I'm glad you're here, but it seems like it's still not a clear answer about it.
Yeah, and I don't, my sense is that you have to be a DC resident in order to get the, to access our pools, or you pay a $5 fee. But please follow both me afterwards, and I'll see if there's any way that there's a way that we can do temporary residency. But I do know we really focus on making sure that our DC residents get in for free, even though I know the kids are the parents are the taxpayer, but it's sort of a priority to get our DC residents in first. So, but feel free to follow up with me, email, and I'll poke the question around again.
Thank you.
And get a more clear answer.
We have a question in the room. Mrs. Lee?
Yes. That's a good question. I mean, I think children,
Question.
the question is, how do we accommodate children who didn't get into our programs or into our summer camp programs? What do we do with the accommodation? Well, our rec centers are open at night, so people can drop into our rec centers in the evening if they don't make summer camp. And, you know, that is how we try to accommodate. But during the day, our summer camps are, most of our rec centers are filled with children in summer camp. I know that's not a perfect answer, but you know, it's a it's a balancing act. You know, I think, you know, in our summer camp, you know, it is incredible. I mean, the demand is significant, and we are aware that we have high demand for our programs, and that we try to accommodate as many people as we can. The kids can also go to our pools during the summer. We have a lot of outdoor pools that are open. We have spray parks that are open across the city. Trinidad, I don't know if you have a spray park in Trinidad. You do? Oh, cool. It's a good thing I remembered. But I know it's not the ideal, but you know, we try to balance. And again, of course, they're open on Saturdays, and they're open, you know, once our summer camp ends, you know, the centers are open and kids can come in and hang out.
Well, thank you. We don't see any more questions in the chat and no more questions in the audience. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you, everyone who has attended this meeting. This is, I'm obviously I'm a sucker because I'm an ANC commissioner. I'm biased, but this is civic engagement at its finest. And it's one of the more unique things about DC that we have an advisory neighborhood commission in a role like this. So that, you know, and I'm really genuinely encourage you, even the residents who are at home, if you need something from DPR and you want to try to cut through them, feel free to reach out to me. I try to be as responsive as I can, and my contact information is on the slide deck. Thank you all for having me, and we'll see you at the next time.
Thank you so much. And that was very important what Christopher Dyer said, like commissioners, the community, the way DC is structured is very important. And we have been structured this way for a long time. And that's in danger, but please support your ANC commissioners, support your community, lift up your community, and we can get all this stuff done together. And we have Oliver next from Councilmember Parker's office, and with some great news.
Hello, everyone. Can everybody hear me? I'm good. Can you hear me?
Can you turn your volume up a little bit?
I might just have to talk louder.
There you go. There you go. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. For those that don't know me, I'm Oliver, and I'm the Director of Constituent Services for the Ward 5 Council Office of Zachary Parker. And today I am accompanied by our new Constituent Service Coordinator, Andriana Lovelace. If she's on, could you wave for the people? So right now, we're going to have to give her a name change because she's on Zoom. According to Zoom, she's Oliver today. But she's shadowing me. This is her first ANC meeting, and we are very excited to have Andriana on our team. Not only is she a native Washingtonian, but she was also born and raised in ANC 5D in the Trinidad neighborhood. So she is passionate about, you know, community, and she looks forward to working with the commissioners as well as serving our constituents. As far as our updates that we have from our office, I'm sure you've all seen the news that directly affects us as DC residents. Over the weekend, congressional Republicans introduced a continuing resolution to extend federal government funding through September and avoid the potential of government shutdown. However, this resolution excludes language that has been included for more than 20 years, the language that allows DC to operate under its own current locally funded budget. Removing this provision undoes the district's fiscal year 2025 budget and forces us to revert to the FY 2024 levels. So this creates an unprecedented crisis for DC, as it's going to be disrupting essential services that Congress has already approved and the district has already been paying for since October 1. So this would force DC to cut 1 billion in essential services in the remaining 6 months of the current fiscal year. This includes cuts that will come from our police officers to our teachers, to our firefighters, and more, all without saving the federal government a single dime. Again, this is a locally funded budget, and this is from us. This budget is from taxpayers of the district, which is more than 700,000 residents. Basically, what the council has done and what DC leaders have done. Yesterday, the Councilmember Parker and his colleagues joined Mayor Bowser and Congresswoman Norton's office to go on the Hill for a press conference, and they directly make their case for the Republicans that this is an unprecedented change and it simply does not make sense. So Congresswoman Norton also, she introduced a common sense amendment for consideration by the Rules Committee that would have restored the bipartisan precedent and avoid this physical crisis. But unfortunately, the committee did not adopt the amendment, and the resolution moved today. And I think that the vote that they moved it from on the House was 217 to 213 not too long ago. So this bill has been passed as expected, and now the bill is going to be moving to the Senate for a vote at the end of the week to avoid a government shutdown by March 14th deadline. How can neighbors help? We need DC residents to contact senators ahead of any of the vote in the Senate on this continuing resolution to avoid drastic cuts to our city's frontline services. What we have done is we have a list including all the Republican leaders as well as senators from the DMV region, in which you can get their contact information and give them a call. We also have a script that neighbors can also use. So you guys can call these senators and just make your voices heard, because we do not want to deal with, having to, leading to people losing their jobs and just cutting back on a number of different things as they make this decision. So that's it for us, but more on a positive aspect, more positive news. We'll be hosting our Ward 5 award ceremony tomorrow, and we will be recognizing community members who have went over and beyond for residents. And that will be at Ivy City Smokehouse, which is 1356 Oakey Street Northeast, and it will be at 7 p.m. And that's about it. More on the specific side, the ANC specifics. I know that Commissioner Campbell, she was mentioning stuff about public safety and not getting information in regards to events that happen. Usually what I do, because I lead the office in public safety and interfacing with our public safety apparatus, I'm usually either I'm on the scene or I know what's going on. And if I don't, because sometimes I don't, neighbors will call me. But of course, I have a great relationship with Commissioner McCullum, as well as Commissioner Rhodes, as well as Commissioner Salvador. And what they do is they either call me and tell me that they heard something or something's going on, and I will gather that information and I'll get it back to them. Or if there's a contact shooting or if there's a fire, I automatically let them know what's going on in the neighborhood. And I want to do the same thing with you as well. So if you ever get into a situation where you feel as though that you don't know what's going on, there's two things you can do. You could either call the watch command number. And sometimes I even call the watch command number and they'll tell you exactly what's going on, or you can just call me and I'll make sure I get that information for you. Also, you did mention a fire that happened. That fire happened on the 2300 block of G Street, which is Langston Terrace. I was actually on the scene that day. And if you ever get into a situation where nobody's giving you information, whether it's DCHA or whatever, you could always give me a call or give me a shout, and then we can work things forward from there. And then you also mentioned a couple of shootings that had happened. I think there was a shooting on the 1900 block of Maryland Avenue, which I think, no, that's not your area. That's actually Commissioner McCollum's area. But all in all, if you have any public safety concerns, always reach out to me and we can go from there and we'll figure it out.
Okay, that's no problem.
Yep.
Thanks, Oliver, for all that information. And I like what you said that if someone has the information and you don't, we make sure that you get it, and vice
Indeed.
versa again. And I can't say this enough. We have to work together. And now these days, more so than
Yes.
any time, we really need to work together and share the resources.
Indeed.
Commissioner McCollum, did you have something to say to Oliver? Did you want to address anything?
No, I just wanted to, I mean, I didn't have my hand raised, but I do want to just tell him thank you because he's right. We have a solid relationship with him, and I just can attest that for you, Miss Commissioner G. Campbell, that he will be on it. He'll let you know. I mean, sometimes I think I got it, and he's already like hit me up to let me know. So I will say that he's very responsive. So, and I appreciate you for doing that. And I look forward to also working with our new person in your office that's going to be working with us. So I look forward to that as well.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Oliver.
No problem.
Adriana, do you want to say anything?
Hi, nice to meet you all. I'm the new constituent service coordinator with Councilmember Zachary Parker's office, and I'm excited to work with you guys. I live right here in Trinidad, so all these things impact me, and I've grown up here, so I'm excited to work with you all.
We're excited too. All right.
Good evening. Thank you, Director Stout, and thank you, Adriana. Director Stout, you mentioned that there is a script or an email to contact the senators to let them know basically how we feel about this situation. Is that, and we don't have the representation here, so this can be sent to across the DMV. This communication going back to the senators and staff can be sent from anyone in the DMV. Would that be correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're going to share that, or you already shared?
Yeah, I'm gonna share that in the chat. Also the script is tailored for district residents, but there's also, means for other, constituents within the DMV that they can reach out as well.
We need that. I need that to be able to share
Yep.
with folks
Okay.
in my circle so we can get this communicated. The more the merrier, right?
Yes, most
All right.
definitely.
Thank you.
No problem.
And can I ask a quick question? Do we happen to know when folks should call? Like, is there a deadline? Like, when is the Senate vote?
So the House vote just passed and they have to make a decision by March 14th. So you guys can start calling right away.
Thank you. It's very important. Okay, we have Raisha. Do we have Raisha? Can you raise your hand if you're online with the National Arboretum Connector Project?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hello, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Hey, I'm Raisha Quarry. I'm with the Arboretum Trail Project. I do have some colleagues on the line. I would like you guys to unmute. I have Mike Kimball and David Ballack.
Yes, good evening, all. Um, and it looks like Mike's on. Mike, are you able to share your screen? Excellent. Well, thanks so much, everyone, for having us. My name is David Ballack. I am a trails planner with DDOT. We're really excited to be back presenting to you all with a status update and some presenting our alternatives that we have and letting you know the next steps that we're headed with this Anacostia River Trail Arboretum Bridge to Maryland Avenue connector feasibility study. Go ahead, next slide, Mike. So like I said, I'm David Ballack. You'll hear from Mike Campbell, who is our lead consultant for this project, who's really done a great job helping put together the slides and the alternatives that we'll be sharing with you all today. But we've been collaborating with quite a large team, both at DDOT and externally with various stakeholders around the community and within the project area. So we'll go into a little bit more detail about that as well. So the study area that we've been looking at, as a reminder for anyone who might have missed our previous presentation, is around the Langston Golf Course area and the U.S. National Arboretum. What we're hoping to do is provide a connection to the future Arboretum Bridge, which will be getting built in the next couple of years. That's that pink line that you can see across the river on the map here. And so we're looking at providing a connection to Maryland Ave, M Street intersection at the point of the triangle, the yellow triangle there. And so this is a really exciting project, but it also has plenty of challenges, which we can touch on the next slide. So some of those challenges is the various land ownership here. We've been working a lot with National Park Service and the U.S. National Arboretum as a part of this project. The trail alternatives will be running along the property line, as Mike will talk about a little bit later. So for DDOT, we have right of way at the M Street and Maryland Avenue intersection, and just behind that gate, there's an older paper street, as we like to call it, that goes back into the forest there. But then much of the rest of the land for the proposed trail falls in U.S. National Arboretum, which falls under the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and on the Langston Golf Course, which is National Park Service. So those are just some of the things that we're navigating as part of this trail and the feasibility study. So an update on where we are. We just kicked off this feasibility study back in April of 2024. And so we've been making progress over the last few months. We last spoke to you all back in September of 2024 and had our first public meeting in October. Since then, based on the feedback that we received at that point, we've developed our existing conditions report and our trail alternatives, which we'll be discussing a little bit with you all this evening. But then I also do really want to highlight that we're having our next public meeting in person at the U.S. National Arboretum on Tuesday, March 25th. It'll be an open house style from 6 to 8 p.m. We'll be doing a presentation at 6:15, which will be similar to what you all get tonight, but with a little bit more detail as we have a little bit more time then. And then we'll also repeat that presentation again at 7:15. And in between that period, those periods between 6 and 8, we'll have a lot of boards around the room, and we'll be looking to speak with you all and hear your thoughts and go into a little bit more detail about the alternatives and what we've been developing so far. And then based on the feedback that we get at that meeting and this meeting, we'll prepare our final right-of-way impact summary report and our final report for the entire feasibility study, and that will bring us to 15% design. So I do want to highlight, we're still very early in this process. We really want to get your feedback now because this is a great time to still be able to shift based on the feedback we receive. But we're still very early, and so while we're very excited about the progress that we've made, nothing's set in stone just yet. So with that, I'll hand it over to Mike to discuss what we heard at the last meetings and go through the adjustments we've made.
Thanks, David. Hello, my name is Mike Campbell. I'm a landscape architect with WRA. So we met with you all in the fall, and we also had our public meeting where we were just introducing the project and got some feedback, and we wanted to get some information that would help us guide the development of the trail. So what did we hear? In general, there was very positive feedback about the trail, so that's always exciting. We heard that there was a desire for the trail to be accessible outside of the U.S. Arboretum hours so that the closed gate would not restrict access to the trail. We heard about increased access to the river. And we also heard about protection of the environment and concerns around safety related to the trail. So taking what we heard from the community and stakeholders, we developed several trail alignment alternatives, and we further reduced those alignments to 2 options, which we are going to present further in detail, as David mentioned, at the public meeting. Both options consist of a 12-foot wide paved asphalt trail. We did increase the trail from 10 feet to 12 feet based off of some of the concerns we heard at the last meeting regarding safety of trail users. Pedestrians and bicyclists interacting along the trail. A wider trail can be much safer. Both options start or end, I guess either way you look at it, at the Maryland Avenue and M Street intersection. They follow the DDOT right-of-way. And then as we enter into the Langston property, we are basically following the existing fence line, property line along the Langston golf course, around the backside of the current golf hole locations. And for the option that you see on the screen, we are then crossing over Hickey Run with a new pedestrian bridge and tying into the Arboretum Bridge Trail, which is to be under construction in, I think it's 2026 now, David, is the last I saw, is when they're looking to start construction.
To start construction, yes.
So this is still option 1. This is a zoomed in view of what that potential bridge crossing could look like. We evaluated several different bridge types. And of course, as David mentioned, this is just feasibility study, but we do want to make sure we're providing the feasibility of a structure that can be maintained by DDOT. And the proposed structure that you see here is a steel truss structure. That structure would be placed at an elevation above the 100-year floodplain. We know there is some flooding issues along Hickey Run and the Anacostia River as well, and we want to make sure we have a sustainable trail network. This option would require a relocation of the existing Arboretum gate and fencing. That would allow us we would push the fencing to the other side of the trail, which would allow us to, again, keep that trail open outside of the Arboretum operational hours. Option 2, which you see here, generally follows the same as option 1. We don't have a whole lot of choices for alignment alternatives given the land use, protection of environmental features, and the adjacent golf course and Arboretum. So option 2 follows the alignment, but instead of tucking behind the golf course and crossing Hickey Run, this alignment goes up into the Arboretum, uses Crabtree Road. A new culvert would be constructed over Hickey Run, and that new culvert crossing would allow a shared crossing with vehicles and pedestrians and bicyclists. And I'll show you an image of that. And then the alignment would continue on just as option 1 and connect to the Arboretum Bridge Trail. Here you can see an enlargement of that. This would be the new culvert that crosses over Hickey Run. The trail and roadway would be separated by a fence. And so there'd be a very low stress environment, safe for pedestrians and bicyclists, and still maintain that access to the trail outside of Arboretum operational hours. Both of these options also have potential trailhead and amenities associated with them. And again, this is just a concept plan. We're looking at ideas for how we can really make wayfinding a part of this, make it very clear and concise to trail users where they are on the trail, and potentially have some beautification as well. The image that you see here on the left is the M Street and Maryland Avenue intersection. We'd be proposing to remove some of that excessive pavement that is there and create an entrance plaza, implementing bollards to prevent potential vehicles from using the trail. And there would also be opportunities for artwork, public art, and interpretive signage to really highlight the cultural resources that are within the project area. The image on the right is a potential gateway trailhead that would be on the eastern side. As you come over the Arboretum Bridge, you would come, and then there would be a decision point where during the operational hours, you could then access the Arboretum at this location or continue along over the bridge along the trail and extend all the way to Maryland Avenue. So that was in a nutshell, what we're going to be presenting in more detail on the 25th. Really excited to be here tonight and talk to you all, and certainly looking for any feedback that you have. And we hope that you all can come out to the meeting on the 25th.
Thanks a bunch for that. Do we have any questions from the audience or from the commissioners?
No, not from D09.
Excuse me?
No, I was saying no questions from D09.
Oh, okay. Well, no questions. So we're going to let you go, but thank you so much for your presentation.
Thanks so much for having us. Yeah, hope to see you all on the 25th.
Yes, thank you very much. Have a good night.
Okay. I believe that's it for our presentations. And hold on one sec. I think that's it for presentations for tonight. Sorry, give me a second.
So it looks like the next items are the consent calendar items, which consist of the internet and correspondence payment, approval of the admin personnel timesheet, and approval for a community storage organizer purchase. I believe with consent calendar items, as long as we are all, we can do one vote for these. If I'm understanding that to be correct, and Commissioner McCullum, please let me know if I'm off on that. But I believe if we all agree on these, we can move forward.
Correct.
So I guess what I'll do is I'll motion on these three items and then we can open it for discussion and then vote if y'all are open to that. So, I'll give a little brief overview of what I know of the first two. So the internet and correspondence payment, this is just to fund the Verizon, MailChimp, GoDaddy, and just any annual expenses, so we don't have to keep voting on these on a like monthly or quarterly basis, just so that we can have it to cover the entirety of the year. So Verizon, MailChimp, GoDaddy, they should be standard set fees. So in kind of this correspondence, you'll see that. And then the admin personnel timesheet, you can look at kind of the work Andy has done over the February time period. That's laid out so that we can write Andy's check. And it looks like this community storage organizers purchase might be for the office. Oh, okay. Okay, and Commissioner Roblin, can you speak to this one a little bit?
It's for the trash tools to hang them on the wall, instead of be on the floor.
Got it, got it. So what I'll do is I'll move to say, to support all three of these consent calendar items. And hopefully someone will second and we can have some discussion.
A second.
And I guess, does anyone have any questions on these?
I will, I think for clarity purposes, since we're in our discussion period, we should probably just clarify like on the admin personnel timesheet. Since we're voting on these consent going forward, like maybe just talk about what's the maximum and minimum amount of hours that this would be consisting of, and probably just to restate to folks what the hourly pay is, so that we're kind of clear there.
Gotcha. And I know, and this is just, and I guess let me clarify. We would vote, I guess, on like the timesheet on a monthly basis as well. This is just to approve it for this moment with the other kind of items as well. But the hourly rate is $27 an hour. I believe it is written so that it does not exceed $750 a month. And if you all can just confirm if I'm right on that.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
Correct.
Okay. So this would just be kind of to approve work that has already been completed throughout the month of February. Work to consist of drafting the meeting minutes for these few hour-long meetings and sending out notices to the public as well.
So are we good?
I'm good if
Discussion?
everybody else is.
Okay, great. Well, I move to accept all of these items as they stand. And can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, 5D01 is not here. 5D02, aye. 5D03,
Aye.
5D04, 5D05, 5D06,
Aye.
5D07,
Aye.
5D08, 5D09.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Okay, let's see. And we have a voting action about the resolution, the reduction in gun violence. Commissioner, would you like to talk about that for a minute?
Yes, so this is a letter to DC leaders to address gun violence through a coordinated and comprehensive response. So it's urging City Council to take a more health-related approach Major key items here is a more coordinated gun reduction strategy, consistent with the National Institute of Criminal Justice Reform, prioritize and fully fund and professionalize the violence interrupters so that they can be more active in the community, as well as ensuring that we have kind of a community-centered, equitable approach. This was first written by ANC 5F, and they have passed it. So just wanted to see if we wanted to also kind of back that up, knowing that Cure the Streets is in 5D, and trying to give them additional resources so that it's helpful to everyone, especially if we are looking at potential possible cuts in the budget. I think any other ways that we can help folks is going to be useful as we move forward. So that's just a little bit of backdrop, and you'll be able to kind of read the letter. But just let me know if you all have questions. But I mean, on my end, I move that we pass this resolution.
Second.
Okay, we're going to take a vote. 5D01, 5D02, aye. 5D03,
Aye.
5D04, 5D05, 5D06,
Aye.
5D07,
Aye.
5D08, 5D09.
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it. Thanks, everyone, for this coordinated effort. We did a good job. We're on time. And
Commissioner, we have one more. We amended the agenda to add Commissioner Roblin's item.
okay,
And on top of that, just adding on, it looks like we have one more voting item.
we do.
The hire, we had to vote to rehire Andy as the admin.
Oh, right.
So
right.
there's kind of two more items on the table.
Okay.
So I don't know if we wanted to do it kind of in the order and add Commissioner Robbins at the end, or do this one and then that, whichever works.
But I thought we had decided in the cow meeting that we were gonna also hire Rob Hoffman.
Yeah, so I guess that it would just be up for more discussion, but just depending on which order we want to go in. I guess is a larger question. Did you want to bring up your items first and then we go to these hiring actions for whichever?
Yeah, let's bring up Commissioner Robbins.
Okay, that's
and
cool.
then we'll take care of that, okay?
All right, so moving that Vice Chair Sabrina sign that we sign a that we oh my God vote on authorizing me to represent the commission regarding my testimony on my testimony on February 26th represents the commission for the BZA case 21220 of 1154 Morris Street.
Okay, great. And you feel positive about representing? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
okay. You wanna?
So I move that we that I be authorized to represent them.
And I second it. And we're going to do a roll call. 5D01.
Commissioner, can I have discussion for just a moment?
Discussion.
Yep.
Sure.
Commissioner Rob, can you just remind me of what exactly this particular case was? I know it's on Moore Street, but can you remind us so that we all remember just what it was?
Yeah, that was the one that we opposed. That was the one where they didn't put down the what's the name of that? They did, that was the garage in the way, remember that case? And then you spoke up, Commissioner, and they had not put in writing what is it, in something for the garage. encroachment or something like that. I forgot the name of it. And they had said that they would not, not, no, they said they would not keep the changes they had made for the neighbor.
Can I help you out?
Yeah, I'm
I
just
think
like,
so. Now, that's what I wanted to make sure that the public knew, like what the case was, just in case they didn't. But I now that you refresh my memory, this is the case where there is an encroachment, I'm sorry. There is the developers are developing and they've been able to get in contact with one neighbor on one side, and they have not been able to get in contact with the neighbors or the owners on one of the sides. And there's a garage, the side that they're not able to get in contact with the owners, there's a garage at the back of the property that shares, it's going to be sharing the line, or it goes over the line onto the developer side. And so what we were kind of like hung up on was the fact that the developers are saying that they're not going to bother the homeowners about the garage being on that property, but they don't have anything in writing to say that. They're just saying in good faith now we could take their word that the developers are not going to press the issues. And then if they sell it, whoever buys it or whatever the situation happens down the road once it's built, that if these owners come back, they're not going to ask them to redesign, take down part of their garage. But we had nothing in writing, and I think that we voted in opposition of this matter. But the developers did say that they were going to move forward with it, without us. So I think if I'm understanding correct, you're going to go before, you're going to go and speak on our behalf at the hearing.
yeah, I already spoke, and because they have a continuance, they needed this paper for a continuance, just because it's the rule when you have a certain kind of continuance. And it's going to be voted on tomorrow without really any input from anyone else, but they just wanted the paperwork. And yeah, there were neighbors on the other side, which the developers had made a lot of changes for. And then they said, well, we're gonna just change everything back to our original plan if you don't support us, which was something that also didn't sit well with a lot of people, including yourself, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I get it. And Commissioner McCollum, I got a question I want to ask. So they're going to continue with the project without any community or ANC input, which is not sitting well with the community. Is that right?
Yeah, so when they came, they said because they had made so many concessions for the one side of the owners, and I believe when they came before the commission, our commission previously, we did ask for a few things, and they did agree to do some of those, or I don't remember if it was all, but they did do a significant amount of those things. Um, they just felt like if we were going to lay our sword on the fact that now it was a garage there, and if these owners come back and I mean, you could say later, okay, yeah, you got to tear down the garage. They were just like, well, I think the one thing that really made it bad was one of the developers said, well, if you don't go with this, then everything that we're saying that we're going to do, that you've asked us to do, we're not going to do any of that either. And so it just kind of seemed like at that point they were giving the commission an ultimatum that, okay, well, at this point, either you do or you don't. And if you don't, then we're going to go with the by right part of this, and we're just going to do what we want to do. And I think that kind of, I know for me personally, it did not sit well. And I think some others shared that same sentiment.
Exactly. And yeah, they had made every change, and then they said they would go back out. But in our cow meeting in January, before the public, they said that they would try to put it in writing, and then they didn't.
So what are they asking from us? What do they want from us?
It's the BZA that wants it from us, not the developers. The BZA said when there's a continuance, like to a different meeting date, a different BZA hearing, they would like a continuance saying that the SMD commissioner represents the commission.
And you're going to represent the commission saying,
Just on my previous, that the previous testimony that I read represents the commission, nothing from now on. Just that and I had sent an email to everybody and told everybody what what exactly I had read to the board.
well, can you give us a, like, 1 minute, 1 minute summary of what you wrote? You don't have to read the whole thing, just give us a summary of how you're representing the commission. And what are you saying?
Sure. Well, I said that the community is completely against this, and they are. The whole community is completely against that BZA, mostly because it's for 3 units instead of 2 units. And also because of the garage. And a handful of residents had written to the BZA and said, we're against it. So a lot of residents actually took their time to write so I just said, basically, the community is not okay with it and please oppose it. And I said also, some of the residents had, during a meeting I had at one of their houses, had said, well, we thought that gentrification issues were included in what the BZA made their decision on. And so and then Salvador had told me, no, it's not. The BZA does not make their mind up on make their mind based on including gentrification issues. So I also added on to the end of my statement, we would hope that you would actually consider at some point including destructive gentrification issues in what you make your decisions based on.
So for clarity, we're voting so you can submit your testimony to the zoning commission?
Yeah.
That's it. You're not making any changes to what the developers are saying or what the zoning commission is saying. They just need your statement. They just need your statement, and we need to vote to make sure that they get your statement. Is that right?
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah. And I forgot, I added in about the garage, that it was really not okay that the garage didn't get the written statement, that it needed to prevent him from having to pay thousands of dollars.
So they're going to do their project anyway, by right?
If the BCA passes it, they're going to be able to do it. Yeah.
But either way, they're still going to do it, whether they get your statement or not. Does the BCA just need your statement?
Yeah,
Basically.
BCA.
And they need a vote to get your statement.
Well, they said that they don't actually need a vote. They said just you or Salvador could sign it if you wanted to, but Salvador said we should have a vote.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
And what is your, Commissioner Robin, just what is your, like, based off of your meetings with everyone, just what's the feel and the temperature of the BZ's committee now? Like, what are they saying? How do you feel like they're going to vote?
Well, they asked for a bunch of different things from the developers, and they weren't super happy with the way that they had handled it, in my opinion. Like, they were supposed to deal with something that could have been with some kind of variance. Let me just see, I have it written down because I'm not good at BCA issues. So the board wanted additional information about the accessory structure elevations. Because there was an accessory structure like in the middle of the yard. And the residents also weren't happy with that. But the Office of Planning had concerns that the accessory structure could easily be used for another unit, where it was not supposed to at all have another unit. It's on a tax lot that needs to be converted to a record lot, and they need a variance. The developers said that they thought that that will get straightened out without a problem with DOB, but the BZA board was saying, well, that there's a chance that they might have to go back to the BZA to get another exception for it. So we left it. Well, the developers said that they'll modify their drawings and that they are now going to show the accessory structure as the accessory unit. They kept sort of saying it's not a unit, it's a structure. It's the accessory structure, and they're going to add a covenant on the garage and no kitchen and add the elevations to the new plans. Yeah, so that was about it. And the architect, Mr. Kearley, said he thinks that because of the length of the time that the garage has encroached on the property, that no one can ask for its removal. So after he said that, I said, well, I'm not sure if that will hold up in court.
Exactly. Looks like we have one hand, someone else in the audience has a hand raised.
Okay. Francis?
Francis?
We need to give them the speaking privileges.
Yeah, let me check if I can do it.
Okay, there we go.
Francis, are you there? Okay. You can come off mute, Francis. There you go.
I'm unmuted.
Yes.
I had concern, and I think everybody else did that. What we should really be emphasizing is that we don't want 3 units. And I believe they wanted to go out 16 feet rather, or it's 6 feet more than the 10 feet that's allowed. So that would make 16 feet on the main structure. The gentrification, the BZA board doesn't care about. They care more about the legal stuff of it. They were concerned that the ANC committee did not vote for it, and they sent the developer back to see if they could get an ANC approval. And so what Anna really need is a letter, that's what they wanted, saying that she can represent this ANC board. And it's not so much about her testimony, just that the BZA committee needed a letter that said she can represent the board. And let's see, what else? Oh, and the thing about the BZA committee was concerned about the extension of the property line over into the the neighbor's garage. So, and one of the commission board members brought up the idea that the structure that they don't want to call a dwelling unit, but a dwelling structure, accessory structure, that a kitchen could be put in and it could be made into a living facility. But as we know, anybody can do something illegally. So that's kind of a here or there, whatever. And then one of the other board members asked about the record lot versus the plot lot, and why were they doing this without a lawyer? And they said that the lawyers said they could do it as independent because they believe that by the time everything goes through or finished, that the property would be now a recorded lot as opposed to oh, now I've forgotten, a plot lot or whatever. It's two different kinds of lot. And it just kind of seemed like the developer was trying to go around that procedure because the lady did bring up that they might have to come back to the board again once that is approved. And plus, those folks already did one unit that's on this street that is nothing but a, what do you call it, Airbnb now.
Okay.
So I think I think that was all that I could remember. And then
And
I
your
want to
neighbor,
comment.
Francis?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I got it. Okay, so we trust you, Commissioner Roblin, to represent the commission, especially knowing that they're going to do one thing and you want to make sure that they do what they're supposed to do, and do it right by the community. So I don't have a problem with that. Is anyone else wanting to add to this conversation or continue with this discussion? Commissioner McCollum, do we still have any more time for this discussion?
No, I think we can move on from discussion. I
Okay,
think
great.
I'm still unclear with what uh, I mean, so just so I know your testimony, we just need to vote, and I guess Commissioner Rhodes will sign off on you delivering that, providing that testimony to them, a copy of that testimony tomorrow for the record, during this continuance hearing.
I think it's just voting to authorize me as the ANC's representative regarding my testimony on February 26th.
No, got that. But I'm just saying, so I mean, do you need to do anything else?
No,
Okay.
I just need to send a copy of the letter,
Okay.
signed letter, yeah, to the,
So that's what I'm saying. Do you have the letter already, or do we need to construct a letter for you to have? I'm just
no,
trying to figure out what
I brought it with me and I sent everybody a copy in an email.
okay, so
Yeah.
the letter we have in email is what, okay, got it.
Yeah,
So yeah, so I guess the motion is just for us to agree to agree to sign off on the letter tonight so that Commissioner Robbins' testimony represents us.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess I just have a quick question because I was looking at the email and I see the body of it, but I see the letter itself that we would need to sign off on, but the actual verbiage, does that need to be in like a letterhead format or anything? Like,
I thought that was the letterhead format, like with a flag and just, I think that is our letterhead, isn't it?
I guess the better question is, does the actual testimony need to be written on the letterhead?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
And once you submit this is it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if it's not,
No, it is because it's just a, like, sort of like a format. I think it's just basically a formality because it's a continuance. And that's the whole reason for it. Because they continued and they just, when a certain kind of case continues, then they want that letter.
and when is the new date? You said
Tomorrow,
tomorrow? Okay.
but I have it with me.
Okay.
And you can just sign it.
All right. Commissioner McCollum, do we have to put a motion on the floor for this?
Well, we have it on as a voting item. Well, we added it. Okay, so yeah, we added this on tonight, as in, so it just sounds like this doesn't need to be a voting matter. I mean, but I feel like whatever the commission wants to decide here, we should decide it real quick. But this doesn't sound like this is a voting matter. This is just a matter that needed to really just be kind of brought publicly. And I think we've done that. We opened a discussion about it. We're not really voting on something that has changed anything. This was already provided. And so we're just now just kind of rehashing this out. So I'm not
Okay, great.
necessarily sure that we need to vote.
Yeah, they didn't say, the board did not say we needed to
Yeah.
vote. They said just needs a signature by either the chair or vice chair.
I think this is something that could have happened in the Cal, but because we're public now, we talked about it through the public. And so if you're comfortable, Chairwoman, then we can just kind of move forward with this and you could just sign off on it tonight.
Cool. Okay. Well, thanks, Commissioner Roblin, for your help in making sure that these developers are doing what they're supposed to do. Thank you, Commissioner McCullum, for helping us understand throughout the meeting,
Yeah.
you know, everything that's going on. And thanks to all the commissioners here. I think we did a good job.
We still have one more item.
Hey, we have Commissioner Arbuckle that just walked in the house. How you doing?
And just so we also know, we have 2 items left. We have the hiring matter, and then we need to go back up to the adoption of the minutes that we left off. And since Commissioner Arbuckle is here, we can go do we can kind of end with the adoption of those minutes.
Okay.
Do you want me to go through the next one?
Yeah.
All right. So the voting action items are for the hiring of an admin personnel. So during the last Cal in February, there were Andy, who has been doing the work thus far for the admin staff, reapplied, but we also had another applicant, and his name was Rob Hoffman. So with those 2 individuals, knowing that it is a large lift, right? Like a lot of this is sometimes some folks addition to. So like the admin staff, we also understand that they're sitting here through the meeting minutes. We may also need additional work done. We need consistent community connection. So the thought came up of hiring a social media project manager for a short period of time, in addition to Andy as the administrative assistant. So the question that is currently up, and what we are proposing is the rehiring of Andy Vaught as the administrative assistant and the hiring of Rob Hoffman as a social media project manager. Andy would be hired at the same hourly rate, $27 an hour, with a monthly salary cap of $750. And the hiring of Rob Hoffman as a social media project manager, hourly rate of $25 with a monthly salary cap of $750. The difference in the position, just for the public's knowledge and for other commissioners' knowledge as well, Andy would stay on and the role would remain unchanged, managing official correspondence and documentation, coordinating meeting agendas and minutes, supporting commissioners with administrative tasks, ensuring smooth communication. The difference between the administrative position and the social media manager would engage with social media across all of our relevant platforms, overseeing the redesign and enhancement of our ANC 5D website, refreshing and optimizing the ANC 5D YouTube channel, and developing and implementing strategies for like effective digital outreach. So I know Commissioner Roblin sat in on that as well, and may want to speak to this as well. But we believe, I mean, both positions are critical. We know we have the funds to do so. And I know even if I don't know if you all would maybe want to just rehire Andy and maybe want to put out a listing for a social media project manager, all depending on where folks stood on it. We could just split up the vote as well, but we thought that it made sense to hire them both at the same time so that we can kind of get this project going forward. But up for discussion, up for debate, but that's kind of what's on the table.
And what's most important is that we have the money to pay both for those duties.
Yes, we have the funds to ensure kind of this consistent digital presence, correspondence. I know the major thing that folks say that they don't know what's going on. So what better way than to have a digital presence, maybe even some mailers to go out. And we can do that with kind of both resources.
Sounds perfect to me.
I think it's a great idea to have both. I didn't remember that we were going to pay 25, or I was assuming we were paying 27. Personally, I would rather pay 27 to both people. I don't know if we could vote on changing that, maybe. Yeah, but I think it's a great idea to have both. And also, like, I noticed the newsletter hasn't gone out at all. Since like I put the last one out, which was a really long time ago. So I'm not sure what the holdup is on that, but I have a feeling that, you know, if that's a lot for Andy and if they don't really want to do the newsletter, that would be perfect for Rob to do too.
So do we want to vote to have both of them
And
make 27?
yeah, I would be open to that. And maybe we I can motion for both of these with the addendum to the hourly rate. And then we have discussion with anyone else that has kind of questions or concerns about it, and then we can move to vote. Are you all open to that? So I move that we rehire Andy Vaught.
Can I make it?
Yes.
Okay, so Commissioner Robin, I'm with you 100%. The only reason why I would have any objection to the 25 and 27 is because we've had Andy for some time. And so Andy, we've seen his work. He's worked with us. We kind of know, we just know. And so the 27 kind of makes more sense to me. The 25 with bringing someone in that we're really not familiar with their skills. We haven't worked with them yet. So I'd say that we can kind of leave that room in there for the $2 increase just to see once the person gets in and they get working with us. And then, of course, I'm not opposed to bringing them back and bringing them to the same level. But I think that it does give us a new hire versus someone that's continuing their tenure.
Well, we started Andy off at 27, so I don't know. I sort of hope that we start Rob off at 27 too.
Well, if that's the argument, then we could also say we should take Andy up higher than 27 then. So I think it could be an argument for both of those. But I know for me, it's going to be a no for me to raise it to $27. And that's just, I mean, it's not to change anybody else, but I'm going to stick with bringing someone in at 25 and letting them kind of show us what they could do.
All right, well, we want them to get paid. And we don't want to hold up their dollars. So what we're going to do, are we going to raise Andy's hourly wage up?
How is
a
it written
dollar?
now? How is it written in what we're doing? It's written as 25 and 27?
It is currently written, and I know Commissioner Guzman had drafted this. So what we could do is we could vote on this as is, or we can vote on kind of the addendum. I believe that's how it may work. Um, and correct me if I'm wrong, Commissioner McCullum, but I think we will vote and say, hey, we accept this as it is, or we vote to change some portion of this proposal.
Yes.
And go forth from there. So maybe we do a round robin, vote as is, or vote to make a change. Maybe the change first, then vote as is. I don't know which one.
I don't know.
So
Can
we would need to do the vote as we would do the vote for the increase, and then depending on how that goes, then we would go from there. And I want us to make sure we do it right because, like I said, this is not against what Commissioner Roblin is doing, so I have no personal fight in this. But I want to make sure that we vote it right so that it's done right, so and fair.
Right.
Yeah, we would do that, and then however that lands, then we would move forward with kind of doing them both.
And I
Or
have a
if you could,
question. Once we
or if you wanted
vote,
to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no.
Wait a minute.
I don't think we moved in a while. Okay.
Uh, So, but once we do this vote, if we decide, can we make it so that if we decide to give Andy the raise, that it is still a possibility and we don't have to do a whole separate vote, or,
I
I'm just
think
asking.
I
Yeah.
I think what I would do, I would move to like, or whoever wants to move to say, hey, I move that we hire Rob Hoffman with the hourly rate of $27 an hour and with a monthly cap of $750 as a social media project manager, and rehire Andy Vaught as the administrative assistant with the hourly rate of 27 and the monthly salary cap of 750, and get someone to second it from there, noting that the hiring of Rob Hoffman would be an increase of $2 from what we currently have written. That's what I believe we should
That
do.
that won't it won't work because if someone votes no, they wouldn't be voting no for, and so we have to first get the whole increase out of the way. Because if we so all it's just a simple, we're just gonna do a motion on the floor to bring the salaries both, and it doesn't even need to be both, but to bring the salary for the digital position up to $27. It needs to have nothing to do with the second position. And so it'll get a second, and then we'll go into a vote for that. If we bring it up to $27, then we'll go directly into the way that you just presented it, Commissioner McCray. Then we can go into like bringing them together in one vote. But we just need to just do the increase first, just so it's clean and fair.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Commissioner Roblin, if you'll put your on the floor, we can go from there.
Oh, thanks, Commissioner McComb. So I move that we change the $25 to $27 for Rob Hoffman.
I second. And we're gonna do a roll call. 5D01,
Nay.
5D02, yay. Yes. 5D03,
Yes.
5D04, 5D05, 5D06,
Aye.
aye. 5D07,
No.
5D08, 5D09,
Aye. No, hold on, wait a minute. Is that the one that the developer said that they're gonna do it anyway? Or y'all doing something else?
no, we're doing something else.
Aye. I just want to make sure aye. Aye.
Okay.
Totally different.
Cool. I just want to make
I-
sure I'm hearing correctly. I'm trying to multitask. I'm good.
So we don't have a quorum. I mean, we don't have the vote.
No, we had 2 nays and 1, 2, 3, 4 ayes. So I think the ayes win, right?
No, it should have been 4-2.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, 4 to 2. 2 nays and 4 ayes. Aye. Crystal, and Hector and Colin nay.
Yeah, six commissioners.
So
2, it carries.
We have a quorum.
Yeah, it carries.
Okay.
It carries.
So now we have both salaries at 27, and now Commissioner McCray, we can have the motion on the floor to vote for both of these positions.
Okay, so I move that we rehire Andy Vaught as the administrative assistant, the hourly rate of $27 and a monthly salary cap of $750. And we also hire Rob Hoffman as a social media project manager with the hourly rate of $27 and a monthly salary cap of $750. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
And I guess, is there any discussion prior to us moving forward with the vote?
Good. Okay. 5D01,
Yes.
5D02, Yes. 5D03,
Yes.
5D04, 5D05, 5D06,
Yes.
5D07,
Yes.
5D08, 5D09.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's a definite yes. All right, is that it for, do we have anything else?
We have one last matter, and that's just the adoption of the minutes and Commissioner Arbuckle.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So we have in the notice agenda, we have the draft meeting minutes for February that were drafted by mixed vote by Andy. And I move that we adopt these draft minutes as the official meeting minutes for February.
Second.
Okay, roll call. 5D01,
Yes.
5D02, yes. 5D03,
Yes.
5D04, 5D05, 5D06,
Yes.
5D07,
Yes.
5D08, 5D09.
Yes.
Yeses have it. Okay. Now, is that it on the agenda? We have community feedback. If there's anyone left in the community for feedback or questions, this is the time. You're welcome to do so. You can raise your hands and we will let you ask your questions. Let's see, we see something in the chat. Hey, Skip. Okay.
Hello. Excuse me. Did y'all just see in the Q&A that the Pizza Hut on Benner Road is on fire?
Huh?
Wait, what?
Yeah. I just in the Q&A. Read the Q&A.
I don't, hold on.
It's the FYI. I just
see
got
it.
an
I
alert
see
that a
it. I
pizza
see
shop
it.
at 2407 Benner Road Northeast is on fire. Apparently, the entire building engulfed.
That would be
This
my,
is from
I think that's
Is that
my,
your SMD?
that's Heck and Jamal, so I'll go up there.
yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Can you let us know what's going on?
Sure. I sure
Okay.
will.
Thank you. Okay. All these fires.
Yeah.
Okay. Skip, did you want someone to answer your other question about the federal cuts, or are you good? Is this the area where Skip lives? Do Skip lives over this way?
Yes, Skip is one of my constituents.
Okay, okay, so Skip might be over there near the area.
And I'll make sure that whenever I get over there, I'm sure you all will be finished with the meeting, but I'll start texting around to us all.
Thank you, we appreciate it.
Mhm.
That Pizza Hut been there forever. Yes.
Yeah, I started at that Pizza Hut. That was
Jamal.
21 years ago. I remember we got that Pizza Hut together. I was a manager over there. Started cooking, then moved up from a supervisor to a store manager. That was like 20 years. Pizza Hut been there for 20 years.
Yeah,
21
because it
years.
was the MPD was over there right next door to it, wasn't it? MPD station. Yeah, it's been there for a long, long time. This is crazy.
I was making $6 an hour.
I probably got pizza from you. I used to hang over there. Okay. Skip, you wanted us to answer your question. Can you come off? Let me see if I can get you off of mute. Can you speak, Skip? Or are you over there at the fire? Because I can't take you off of mute. Let's see. Can you? Oh, we can? Okay, Skip, can you unmute yourself? Because I'm not sure what you're saying yes to.
Commissioner G. Campbell, you're on mute as well.
Yes, I'm on mute.
Did you have something to say to her?
No,
or-
no, I just
Oh, okay.
I saw that your mouth was moving, so I thought maybe you were trying to talk. Sorry.
All right, Skip, can you come off of mute if you have something to say before we leave for the evening? Does anyone else have any questions? Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Oh, it go all the way down. Okay. You don't have that control. Don't on his computer. Don't have that control. Let's see. I'm Robert Smith, MS with the DC Prevention Center. I like to moderate a roundtable with you all to discuss opioid misuses concerns in middle to older adult Black men in Ward 5. I think that's a very important subject. And yes, you can reach us and we would love to talk about that. You can go straight down from 5D01 all the way to 5D09 and put us all in the email, and then we will reach out to you. Let's see, ANC and community members. Sure, we can work that out. Anyone else have any questions or concerns before we end for tonight? Okay. Well, this has been a great meeting. Thank you, everyone, for being here and us working together and making it happen. Thanks to the community for coming and listening to this meeting. We appreciate you. We will be hearing something back from Commissioner McCollum about that fire. And that's it for today. We appreciate you, the ASL interpreters. We really appreciate you hanging out with us and helping us with our meeting. And that's it. We're going to keep Andy. And what is the other staff?
Rob.
Rob Hoffman.
Rob Hoffman. Okay, so we welcome Rob Hoffman at some point. That'd be super cool. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. We're going to end the meeting, and you all be safe. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Good
Oh,
night,
the
everybody.
time the meeting is
Good night.
over at 9:47. The meeting is adjourned.
I think we have to
Good
vote
night,
on adjournment.
everybody.
We have to vote. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
Wait, we have to vote on what?
Adjournment. We always vote on
Or
adjournment.
we move to adjourn.
Okay, we moved
Okay,
our
so
second.
okay, I move that we adjourn.
Okay, and our second.
All right.
And do we all, are we,
I vote yes.
I vote yes.
yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The meeting is adjourned 9:40.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.